everyone, Dr. V here. Thank you for coming back and welcome to day 12 of Vlogmas. Yay! All right, so today we're going to talk about 5 ways that I do my New Year resolutions, which are not really resolutions because not saying that the word is bad, but for me it just has a bad vibe to it. Like when I think of New Year's resolutions, I think about the cheesy things that I want to accomplish that I never get done towards March. So I don't say resolutions, but people ask me often, how do I start my new year right? Especially people who've noticed a change in my life and they're like, what are you doing differently? So I know this is a little early, but the more you can start thinking about how you're going to set up 2021, the earlier you do that, the better. That's just my opinion. You can wait until whenever, or you don't have to do it at all. But I think, especially with the way 2020 has gone, there's nothing wrong with trying to start your 2021 off right, trying to have a plan or vision for your life. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So if anything that 2020 taught us was you might want to make some plans so you can be your own economy. And I'll leave it at that. So I'm going to talk to you about the 5 ways that I approach every year, and take what you want, leave the rest. And as always, I would love to hear from you as well. So let's get right into it. So the first thing I do is, this is step 0. Okay, step 0. I review what I've done all year. I look at previous vision boards or previous goals. I skim through planners, journals, and things like that. I just skim through and to kind of get an overview of what I did, what I said I wanted to do, and all of that. So it can be in my mind whether I need to continue on with something, let go of something. So I do a recap, right? So that's step number 0. All right, so number 1, I actually come up with a theme word. What word do I want to have for 2021 or the new year? What word do I want to live by? What's going to be my theme? How am I going to approach all of the situations? And I found that when I do that and keep that word before me, that's the action I live in. That's the vibe I live in. And when I don't do it, that's when I can feel myself being all over the place. So I set an intention, I pick a word, and I get a word that really resonates with me and where I want to see myself to go, where I want to see myself. Where I want to see myself. I try not to do trendy words, but if it sits well with me, then it just sits well with me. But I go through a list. I write down a few, or I just sit and meditate, and whatever comes to me and I feel like, that's it, then I go with it. I do have my word already for 2021. It came to me. Someone did a Facebook post and it was like, what's your word for 2021? And I was like, I don't really have a word. And I was just going to type out something silly, just to be fun, because I saw some people putting some other funny things in the comments. And the word just came to me just like that. And I was like, wow. And I felt this sense of calming and peace. And already it matches the vibe that I want to have for 2021. So I'll share that later, but I already have my word. If you already have yours, put it down below because I would love to hear from you. So that's number 1. That's what I did. So number 2, I create a vision that I want to have for the year. I've done the January letter, which I did that for the first time last year. And in a few weeks, I'm going to open up my letter to see what has happened and what didn't happen, right? I'm a little nervous about it because I know a whole bunch of things did not happen. However, I know why. Now I know why. I used to say that I keep getting I have the same goals for the last 3 years, and why aren't they ever accomplished? Because I don't keep the vision before me and I don't write a detailed vision. Now I did last year. I wrote a detailed vision of what I wanted to have in my vision board, and things actually happened. I was like, whoa, this works. So now I'm what's going to happen when I'm really intentional and really believe what I wrote? Because I'll be honest, things that didn't happen, I didn't really believe it. I want to say that I did, but my actions didn't match up. So I'm not upset that certain things did not happen, because that was me. I fell off. But the second thing, to really write out a vision of what you want. I've done a 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10-year life. You don't have to do all of that. So the first thing, and then for the year, I've learned to map out 3 months, 6 months, and then the full year. But overall, to make it simple, I like the January letter where you write to your future self. So I'll do one again this year. So either if I don't write it in December, I'll write it somewhere in January and I will date it December 31st, 2021. And I'll write out a vision like, oh my gosh, I am so excited that I was able to accomplish X, Y, and Z. If you don't want to do the January letter, you can do just write a vision like, what do you want to see? The bigger it is, the more crazy it is, that's the best one to have. So write a vision however you want to be, you want to see your life. Don't make it realistic because you don't want to limit yourself. And that's honestly what I do. So I do a recap, which is step 0. I come up with a theme word. I write my letter, and you don't have to do these in order. Like, these are just the steps that I thought about, but I probably won't do them in order, but I know I do all of them. All right. So that was number 2. Number 3, this was game changer for me. And this is how I know that some of those goals, like why some of those goals worked out and why some of them did not. I do an intense goal setting session towards the end of December. That's like 3 hours long. You can spread it out over a couple days, but I like to be in a zone, in a mode, and then just go for it. It takes a lot. I dig up a lot of stuff. I write things out. It's very intense, and I learned that from a business coach that I had. If you don't want to invest in anything like that, I would suggest maybe getting a goal setting planner, or you can find anything on YouTube, but a goal setting planner that will take you through all the areas of your life. You know, something like maybe Power Sheets, and these aren't sponsored or anything like that. I've just been on the market of looking at planners, so that's why these are in my mind. Something like Power Sheets, Moxie Life, Clever Fox. There's another one that I really liked. I can't think of the name of it. I could not find it. But anything that's goal setting, that's going to make you sit down, look at all the areas of your life, make you write out a plan that you want to have, make you do check-ins and things like that. Something to really say, what are your true deepest desires? What is the vision you want to have for your life? Something like that. You want to do something with an intense goal setting process. That's what I'm trying to say. There's a method behind goal setting, especially people who always hit their goals. They don't just write a list, they go through a process. And yeah, it's a whole thing, it's a whole vibe. So that would be my tip: go through a goal setting process. All right. So, number 4, this may sound cheesy, but do a vision board or a visual board. And I'm not talking about getting together and just cutting things out of a magazine, and it's nice to have these pictures on the board. The reason why you want to have a theme word, write out a full vision, do a goal setting activity, something that gets you really in tune with your true self, because when you do all of that, then your vision board will make sense. I used to do vision board parties all the time. Oh, let's have fun. Let's cut some stuff out. And part of me is like, oh, this may be too ridiculous if I put this out here. Or I kind of want this, but maybe I don't, but it looks like a cute picture right now. All of this they have to connect. Like, you don't just put things up for the sake of putting things up. What I learned that really kept me focused as much as it did, because like I said, now I see why I didn't get the other half of that board finished, but I did get a major part of that board finished, is because I made it, and I made it about me and my feelings and my word and my beliefs and core. Like, all of that was in me, and I put myself on the vision board. It was no more just random pictures. These were things like, I can truly see myself doing this. And I'll say this: a house. Now, I had a certain type of house that I wanted. It was like a brownstone ish, because we don't have true brownstones where I am, but it was brownstone ish. But then I realized, at my core self, I really want a full house, right? So even though the brownstone was on my board, I put a little house on there, because that I was like, it would be nice to have the style of a brownstone. I said, but honestly, what I truly desire is a house. And I got the house. I kept looking at it. I saw myself in the house, all of that. So if you do that with every single goal, they have to be accomplished. Another thing I did was another book. book is right there, completed. It will be out December 22nd. I saw myself being finishing another book. So those are just some examples. And then, like I said, it was another one that I wanted to hit this certain financial goal and I didn't hit it, but I know why I didn't hit it, right? So it's not, I got lessons learned from the vision board, but I can see that it works because I have actual evidence. Whereas before, I would just throw something on the vision board because it was cute. I would have it tucked away behind something and forget about that thing come March or April. But with this vision board, like I made it nice. Like I put my, had some stuff on there. I bought a real frame. It had a glass covering, and that thing is up there like a work of art. And I will do that again this year, with some of the same goals that I didn't meet this year. But now I'm more equipped to make sure those things happen. So I know that was long, a long way to say to make a vision board, but a real one, not just because it's cute. Number 5. This is the reason why I know I didn't accomplish certain goals. And this is the reason why I know I did accomplish certain goals. Map out action steps. This is part of the intense goal setting process that I do. I thought I was in action, but yeah, if you think you're in action, but you don't see results, then you're not in action. Action produces results. Action produces results. So if you don't have the results that you're looking for, you haven't been in enough action. And I know that might be an ouch because that's an ouch for me too. Certain things on that board, and I'll say, like I said in a previous video, I had at the beginning of the year, I wanted to compete in a bikini competition. Not like the ones that are like so ripped, but they still got a little cushion to them, but they still look really nice in their physiques. And it was going to take me 9 months to get there. But then the pandemic happened. Even though now I know that was no excuse because I follow some of the bodybuilders and they were still looking good all through the pandemic, but whatever. But I wasn't in enough action, whether that was eating, the mindset, finding ways to work out, even though we were in quarantine. I wasn't in enough action, so I can't be upset that I didn't reach that particular goal. Again, I wanted a house. I wanted to write another book. I wanted to make sure that I stepped up and stepped out as an digital entrepreneur. I can see myself, I was in action and those things have happened. Those things are done. Those things are still happening because I was in action. I wrote out action steps. I'm going to do this and this by this day and this time, by this week and this time. Like I was really clear on certain action steps. And the action steps that I was clear on, those are the things that got done, right? Again, whatever it is, and I'm truly believing if 2020 didn't teach me anything else, is that whatever you're thinking about, whatever you want to accomplish, it really can happen. There have been miracles around us. Like if you are alive and you're still able to hear this and you are in this December 2020 sometime, you made it through because a lot of people did not. So miracles do happen. We just have to open up our minds to see the miracles, our minds, our hearts, and our eyes. So get into action. And when I say get into action, that doesn't mean you do it for 2 weeks and then you stop. You don't do it for 2 months and then you stop. You keep being in action until you see the results, but you have to write out the action. And I learned this from another coach with buy-win dates, right? So it's not enough to say, oh, I wanted a house, because I had been saying that for years. I want a house. I want a house. But I was like, I want a house by this day during this time, and this is what it's going to look like. And I would envision and visualize myself, and I talked about that in another video. Visualize and envision all the time, all the time. And that house came so fast. It came from 0 to 30 days. Boom, I had a house. No lie, because I had set the intention, I visualized, but I had released myself from always being looking, I was like, all right, I already put it out there. I already visualized, and it's going to come when it comes. But then when I say stay in action, I was in action with other things. What are some other things I need to put in place to make sure that I'm ready for a house? So I hope that makes sense. So sometimes action may not be directly, may not pertain directly to that goal, but you could do action like in 45-degree angles and things like that, as long as you're in some constant movement. And truthfully, if you created a whole vision for your life and looked at all the areas of your life, when you map out your theme word, your goal setting, your vision board, and all of that, all of it should work and flow together. It should be in harmony. So if you are doing action on this goal over here, there should still be some kind of impact to this goal over here, right? So I hope that makes sense. All right. So those were my 5.5, because I gave like a 0 step. Those are the ways that I approach a new year. Now, here's a tip. Here's a bonus tip. If that is overwhelming for you, try 90 days. And I used to hear people talk about 90 days, like, I'm like, oh, that's so cliche. But if you give yourself 90 days to do something, you will be amazed at what you can get accomplished. So even if you approach like writing a vision for your life in the next 90 days, write a word for yourself in the next 90 days, do an intense goal setting process for yourself over the next 90 days, do a vision board for yourself over the next 90 days, and write out action steps that you will do every week or every 2 weeks over the next 90 days, and see what will happen. Maybe you will have to reduce your list of goals to 2 or 3, but yeah, you can hit a good solid 2 goals, if not more, but a good solid 2 goals in 90 days. So whether it's a year, 90 days, 6 months, whatever the case may be, get into some sort of action to do all of those. You have time. I would suggest thinking now, so you don't be at the end of December like stressing out. Or I know some people that don't do anything and they start on January 15th. That just a number that feels good for them. That's a special number for me too. But I know some people that start all of that in January because they want to get over the holidays, they want to get over the hype of the new year, and they want to wait until they get settled. And truth be told, time is just a day. It really is just another day. You can make your January 1 anytime you feel like you want to have your January 1. If you want to wait till February 30, I was about to say February 31st, goodness gracious, February 21st, March 31st, whatever, you can do that. So don't get hung up into having a New Year's resolution right at January. Sit down with yourself, allow yourself to open, and then you can take these steps. All right, so I've been talking a lot, and I hope you got something out of this. I would love to hear from you. Again, put down your thoughts down below. How do you get ready for a new year or a new phase in your life? Let me know in the comments, because you came here to hear and learn from me, and I also want to hear and learn from you. I am Dr. V, and thank you so much for listening and learning with me. I will see you next time. Bye.